In this recording, let us look into figures of speech in the poem On Buying and Selling by Khalil Gibran. Okay, so let us look into what kinds of figures of speech and how many figures of speech the poet Khalil Gibran uses in the poem On Buying and Selling. Okay, as we discussed previously, this is not the typical poem which has line by line rhyme and rhythm. Okay, and nor it is a kind of a typical poem because it is a prose poem. And having said that, you also notice that the poem is little conversational in nature, right? So, poet is not the sole speaker, but at the same time, he brings in the words of other speakers, like the merchant, for example, where at the very outset and the beginning of the poem, it is the merchant who is requesting the poet to speak about the topic buying and selling. Okay, so, buying and selling might generally be translated into the traits of carrying out a trade or a business. Okay, so at the very beginning of the poem, the line and a merchant said, "Speak to us of buying and selling," is repeated twice. Okay, so that in itself is a kind of literary device used in the poem, which is called as refrain, right? A line which is used again and again in the poem in order to uh, convey kind of effective message, okay, and bring about the emphasis that the poem is trying to lay upon. And that is the purpose, the reason behind why refrains are used in the poems, the repetitive lines which are used often in the poem. Okay, at the beginning, at the end, sometimes in the middle. Okay, so that is the purpose of a refrain. And let us look into what the poet says in the poem. And he answered and said, "To you the earth yields her fruit, and you shall not want if you but know how to fill your hands." Okay, so at the very beginning, you find that there is a kind of personification here. The earth is personified, and he uses the very direct personal pronoun to earth. He refers to earth as her. Okay, her fruit. Whose fruit? Earth's fruit here. Okay, so it is not a woman. Earth is not a woman, but here the inanimate geographical planet and space called earth is personified to be a woman or a lady. Okay, a very what do you say, a benevolent woman indeed. And he says, "She is yielding fruits to you to fill your hands." So earth is personified. Okay, so figure of speech used here is personification. Okay, where the inanimate objects are given the attributes, the qualities of human beings, and they are made to work, and they are given the work and actions like how human beings are made to perform. Okay, so earth is performing the act of yielding fruits to human beings. So here earth is personified. Okay, and next he says, okay, yet unless the exchange be in love and kindly justice, it will but lead to some, it will lead some to greed and others to hunger. when in the marketplace you toilers of the sea and fields and vineyards meet, the weavers and the potters and the gatherers of spices. Okay, so let us look into next lines. Invoke then the master spirit of the earth to come to your midst and sanctify the scales, and reckoning the ways, value against value. Right? So this is the entire line, a lengthy line in poetry, of course, which again we agree to it that it is the form of poetic prose. In this lengthy line, you find two figures of speech, which are those: first one is personification, second one is alliteration. Okay, where is personification here? And the poet says, invoke then the master spirit of earth. Right? Invoke, that is a kind of calling upon an entity, divine entity, with respect. And he is talking of the master spirit of earth. Here earth is personified again, having a spirit and a soul, like how human beings have. Okay, and he does not stop at that. He is invoking the earth to come to your midst and sanctify the scale. Come to your midst, here he is attributing the quality of walking like human beings to the earth, and he is assigning the task. He is beckoning, he is requesting the earth to perform the task of sanctifying the scales. So this is a kind of, again, not just having human like quality, but also performing an action like human beings and living beings do. Okay, so this is a very direct personification, and again the earth is personified here. And if you read the entire poem at one go, looks like from the beginning till the end, it's a kind of a stretched metaphor, the stretched personification, the personified aspect of earth. Indeed, personification of the earth is found, it's stretched throughout the poem from the beginning till the end. So the earth is personified in the entire poem. So you find 4 to 5 examples also here directly in the poem. Okay, and he says value against value. The sound of the word V is repeated again. You can't say the actual alliteration because it's beginning with the vowel V, right? It does not begin with a vowel, but it does not repeat many times. It is just twice that it is repeating. To some extent you can say it is an alliteration here, because he says value against value, the word V is repeated twice. Okay, the word value and the letter V is repeated twice in the poem. Okay, and next lines, let us see where do we find other figures of speech. You see that in this line, for the land and sea shall be bountiful to you, even as to us. Okay, so the aspect of land and sea, right, providing few things which are bountiful in nature. Again, it's a kind of personification which is attributed to both land and the sea. Okay, then for they too are the gatherers of fruit and frankincense, is and which they bring, though old fashioned of dreams, is raiment and food for your soul. This entire lengthy line again has two figures of speech. One is alliteration, the second one is metaphor. Okay, So when the poet says they too are gatherers of fruit and frankincense, there is the repetition of the consonant sound of the letter F. Fruit and frankincense. So that is alliteration, and he also uses the word again with F, fashioned of dreams. So you find thrice the repetition of the letter F, and is raiment and food for your soul. This is a kind of metaphor. Okay, so what is compared here? Okay, all these things, right? All these things called fruit and frankincense, okay, fruit and frankincense, these are the direct metaphors for raiment, for food, raiment, which serve as raiments for your soul. Okay, so you see the direct metaphor here, where fruit and frankincense are directly compared to the cloth, right? Raiment here means clothing. So fruits and frankincense are like the cloth, are like the raiment for your soul. So there is a direct comparison metaphor. So you can say that fruit and frankincense are like the raiment and food for your soul. Okay, so that is the metaphor here. Okay, then at the last line again you have personification. This is the fourth or fifth time the spirit of the earth or earth is being personified. So he says that for the master spirit of the earth shall not sleep peacefully upon the wind till the needs of the least of you are satisfied. So again the master spirit of the earth or the earth itself is personified and is being attributed with the uh, quality of sleep, like how you find the quality or the attribute of sleep in human beings. The human attribute or the act of sleep is given attribution to the earth again. So here the earth is personified. So again the figure of speech that is used here is personification. Okay, so these were the different figures of speech, right? Personification, alliteration and metaphor, which is used in the poem On Buying and Selling by Khalil Gibran.